to episode 26 of the WhotKnot podcast. My name is Kathy. I am disabled after a car accident in 2007. In fact, I'm an incomplete quadriplegic. And as part of my occupational health, I like to do as much art and craft as I can. And that's what this podcast is all about. So if you are interested in painting or knitting or sewing or stamping or embroidery or anything like that, you're in the right place. So it's pouring down outside at the moment. Absolutely pouring. So I've had to put on a bit of extra lighting, so I hope everything's going to be okay. I've got Buddy down here on my lap, which is where he likes to be. And yeah, let's get stuck into it. But first I'd like to just thank everybody for all the positive comments about my lovely shawl that I've got hanging in the background here. And the unanimous decision was that you did not want me to make it smaller, or you don't want me to change it at all. So that works out quite good for me, because then I don't have to do all the recalculations on it. But I'll speak to you a little bit more about that in my whip section. Now, first of all, the other thing I'd like to say is big thank you to Lily. She contacted me. She is Dutch. She watches the podcast regularly. So hi, Lily. And she was very helpful in letting me know how to say the word Scheepjes. And I think I've got it right now. She sent me an audio of her saying the word, and she told me that the word means little boats in Dutch. So I'm going to put it up on the screen a bit later on in the podcast when I talk about when I'm using it. But thank you, Lily. Thank you for letting us all know how you actually pronounce that word. So that's quite helpful. So, yep, so thanks to everybody, and I really appreciated all the comments on the last video. Some of you guys are getting into some interesting craft stuff, and the list for my craft interests has grown after reading through all those comments. I was very inspired. You guys are doing anything from embroidery on flour sacks to pottery classes this year. Some of you are starting to do embroideries. You've been inspired by the cross stitching, so there's a bit of that. So yeah, some really interesting bits and pieces going on, so keep me posted on how you go with those. All right, so I've got a few finished objects here piled up as usual, so we will start having a bit of a chat about those. I've got my book way over there and it's as blurry as anything, so hopefully I can keep track of these guys. So the first thing that I've got to show you is my little bunny. Now this was my test knit that I was showing you last week, and she wasn't finished, but oh, she's got a bit of fluff on her nose. There we go. There she is. She's looking very beautiful. She's got her little skirt on. Now this was a test knit that I did, and this test knit was for Natalia, and she is Cute Knitted Toys on Instagram. And I've asked her when this pattern will be available, and she said soon. So I'll let you know when it's released. But if you want to follow her on Instagram, she has lots of cute little toys that she makes and knits and everything. So it's well worth checking her out and following her on Instagram. But this was a really easy knit. As you can see, she's got a little tail, which I knit out of some Suri alpaca and attached to her. I've just put this little skirt on her so that she wouldn't be completely naked. And I just wanted to show you with her eyes, to give you a close-up there. What I've done with those eyes, they're a set of safety eyes, and I have actually super glued some human false lashes onto them to I hope that's showing up. You can just see them there. So I just think that adds a nice little something to the mix. And I watched a podcast and they said that it looks nice if you outline the eyes in a little bit of white or cream coloured thread, which I've tried to do there. I don't know that I've actually been successful in what I was trying to achieve with the outcome there, but that was the first time I kind of tried it, but I'll definitely do that again. And as you can see, I've gone to town with the blush again because that's how I roll. I've put some on her cheeks and some just on the inside of her ears there. But that was a really fun knit and pretty easy. Came together really nicely. Very clear pattern, and I would recommend it when it comes out. So yeah, that's the little bunny. But as I said, she does lots of little knitted. She had on a little bull and she's got a little koala bear, which is really cute. So she's got some really nice bits and pieces there. So thanks for asking me to do that, Natalia, and I really enjoyed doing it. Now, the next thing that I've got that I have finished is, I also showed this to you guys last week on the podcast, and it was this brooch that I got the kit for. I actually bought the kit last year. After I showed it on last week's podcast, a few of you were interested in it. I went to the seller where I originally purchased it from, and she did not have them anymore, but I managed to track down another seller. But she only had two, and I think that you guys have purchased those. So, but I will tell you, I have found another one, which is the same pattern, same everything, but a different bird. And I've actually bought that. So when that arrives, I'll show that to you guys. But it's a little red bird. But if I can find it for any of the rest of you that are interested, I think I've paid about $17 for it. I'll try and track down another seller and see if I can't put the link below. But I wanted to tell you that the instructions are in Russian. There are sections of English instructions, but they're not very clear. But as you can see from this instruction sheet, there's a lot of diagrams, and from the diagrams, you can piece together what needs to be done. I had no problem working out what I needed to do, and it came together really well. So here is the finished item. I did everything that they said. I made the eye cord for around the edge of it, and I hand sewed that on. The little bird, the embroidery on the little bird is up to your own interpretation. The only thing that I did differently is on their picture, as you can see here, they did not put a little white dot in the little bird's eye. They've just got a little black eye, that's theirs. And I put a little white dot because I just think that brings it to life. So that was my little bird, and I thought it came out really nicely. They even tell you how to finish the back of it off so it looks quite neat and tidy. So I did everything that was said there, so that's all nice and secure, and I think it's a good size. So you can get an idea of the size of it on me there. But I would recommend that pattern if you can find it. If I can, as I said, if I can find it, I'll link it for you. But I would recommend that. I think that would make a nice little gift. Yeah, really something a little bit different. And it really came together quickly and easily. It's definitely not a difficult project. So that was a number 2. That was a good second finish. Something else that I finished, and I only just finished this last night, is after I showed my fox cross stitch last week on the podcast, my daughter contacted me and she said to me, "Can you make me one of those boards so that I can put all my enamel pins on it?" So she didn't want anything else on it. She just wanted the bare board and I've padded it. It's got some padding on it, and I framed it, put the border on it, and did the same thing on the back. Just my hubby helped me staple it to secure it on, glued some bag wadding on the back of it to cover up all the mess. So Mill is going to put all her enamel pins on that. So I think she'll like that. I asked her what fabric she would like, and she's redoing her, well, it's her workspace, craft room, spare bedroom, and we decided that this fabric was quite nice. The fabric, I'll show you up close. It's kind of retro with it's either little hearts or knitted stitches, whatever you see when you look at it. But yeah, so I finished that, and I also finished some watercolors. So what I thought I would do is, for you guys that have been watching for a while and are following, you know that I'm doing a sort of an art class, online class thing. My feedback on that is that it's good because it encourages me to do something every day, a painting every day. But the downside of it is I'm not finding it overly interactive in terms of I want somebody to give me some direction, advice on how to level up, and it's really just a matter of they offer you the picture each day, you draw it, paint it, whatever you like, then you upload it and people look at it, like it, or that sort of thing. So there's not really a lot of interactive instructional art critiquing going on, which is what I am actually looking for. So I might have a bit more of a hunt around to find another one, but if anybody else knows of any, I would be really interested to know. So let me know on that one. But as I've said to you in the past, every second episode I am going to do a painting tutorial on the end of it. And this video has got a painting tutorial, and the picture that you guys will be doing is this one. And it's just some lovely soft flowers. They're very simple to create, but very effective. The thing with watercolor, I think, is less is more. Like, try to stop yourself going too far with it, because I think when you keep watercolors light and soft and minimal, it's when you get the best results. So this is, in my opinion, light, soft and minimal, and I think quite easy to achieve. So if you're interested in checking out the tutorial and having a go at this, it'll be on the end of this video. So there's that. And what I thought I would do is, as I said about the art classes, because I'm trying to do one every day and I'm only filming the podcast every 2 weeks, I don't want to have to show you 14 pictures if I do one every day. So I thought I would select out 3 each podcast to show you how I'm going. And I'll do a similar thing to what I did last time, is I will put the picture that they put up for us to paint. And so the first one that I've got to show you is this one. Let me see, where's the best place? I'll put it this side. So I thought I'd show you, I'm choosing 3, and I chose this one because she's got knitwear on. She's got a nice knitted scarf, a lovely knitted beanie with a big fluffy pom-pom, but I liked her red hair. I think that my facial features need to be critiqued a little bit more. And yeah, I seem to be having trouble with the shade and light on the facial features. And I just want to say that when I'm pointing out some of the things that I think aren't right with these pictures, I'm not criticizing, I'm just trying to critique to come to a better level of painting. I'm happy with the pictures that I paint and I like them, but yeah, I'm definitely not. A few of you were upset that I was thinking that my work wasn't good. I feel like it looks good. I'm just trying to critique it and hone in on what areas I would like to improve in. So yeah, and I think that's good, like in anything with your life, to push yourself to a higher level. So yeah, so that was my girl with a yellow woolly jumper and things like that on. Now I did my cat, which if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this guy. So I'll put the picture next to it of what I was going from. But I was very happy with him. The only thing that I changed, and you might be able to see it, is I felt like this ear was too big and this ear was probably the correct size. So what I did was, and you can see that I've actually corrected it, was I altered the area around the edge of that painting, which kind of makes it look a bit messy, but that was how I fixed the problem. But no, apart from that, I was very happy with that. I felt like I went in a little bit harder with the shading, with the shade and light on the neck area. So, yep, that was my pussycat. And the last one that I'll show you is the one I did last night. What did I do with that? Put that up. Oh, that's right. I ran out. My book finished. I had to start a new book. And my husband bought me this one. I'll show you the cover of this one that I use. These are only cheaper ones that I get from the $2 shop. So this is the one I like to use. And when I say $2 shop, this is $11.99. So it's not $2. But I like the, on here you'll see it says 300. So that is the weight of the paper, the thickness and the weight of the paper. That's what I like, and I like a rough surface. So in watercolor, you can get a thinner paper with a smoother surface, which gives different looks. But my preference is the 300 rough. But when my husband went down to get it, he couldn't get that one, and he picked this one up for me. And I have to say I don't like it as much. It's the 180 gram, so it's a lot thinner paper, it's a lot smoother. And I find that when I'm painting on it, rather than the paints absorbing in, they kind of just move around a bit on the top. But having said that, this was the picture I painted last night. And I will put the corresponding picture next to it. It was a difficult one to paint because you're only basically using black and grey to create the picture. But it's good to try something like that because it forces you to really think about it. I found the fur quite difficult to capture on that one, but overall I was happy with how he turned out. So they're my 3 watercolours I'll show you this week. But if you want to see some more of the watercolours and what they're coming out like, have a look at my Instagram. I'm going to put them on periodically on my Insta stories with the comparison, so you can have a look and see how I'm travelling with that if you're interested. All right, now if you remember last week on the podcast, I did my Etsy shop, and the item that I purchased was wooden stamping blocks, and I purchased them from this Etsy store. I've got a bit of shadow there, haven't I? There we go. In the Wild Wood. And that's Bronwyn. And I have to say, I had so much fun with this. I'll show you. I put the other stamps away, but I've left this one out to show you. So it's looking a bit manky because I've used it. So that was the leaf. I got 3. There was a leaf, a border, and a snowflake. So there's that. As I say, quite thick. They were easy to hold, easy to use, and they stamped clearly. So first of all, she says in the instructions, try it on some paper. So I did try it on some paper, and I made 3 cards. So these were the cards that I printed up. I got 3 colours in my kit. So I got that bluish colour that you can see on the bottom there. That's blurry. I'm not sure if that's blurry or that's my eyes. There. Blue on the bottom and red on the top there. And I've just done a fine little black border around the edge of it. So there was that one. This one. That was the border stamp that I got. And I just tried to incorporate the 3 colours. So you can see a bit of green in that one. And the last one was the leaf. Yeah, I really liked the leaf. That was probably my favourite. And I kind of just meshed the colour, the blue and the teal together to get that sort of, you know, graduating look there. And then the kit came with 2 bags. So this is a little bag to store the stamps in. So I stamped that guy up. I'm going to get a fabric marker and draw a little line down there to make it look like that's the flower with the stem, but I haven't done that yet, but I will. So I had a bit of a play with, I'll give you a close-up look at that border. And as you can see, they came out really clearly. Well, I put too much paint on the leaf on that one. That was my first stamp onto the fabric, and then I kind of worked out how much paint to put on it. So I made that. Yeah, so then there was the tote that came in the kit. So I stamped that from red through, I stamped a little bit of red and blue to create the purple. Then I went down to the blue and I did a little bit of blue and green action there and down to the green. So, as I say, I did that on both sides. And I think they turned out really well. And it was a lot of fun. I think that it was a good little kit. And then the good news for you guys is that Bronwyn contacted me after I did the podcast, and she was so happy that I'd mentioned it. And a couple of you guys went off and bought the exact same kit that I've shown, and she was so happy. I think the thing to remember is that you don't realise how passionate some people are about what they're creating for their Etsy stores and how much it actually means to them that somebody is interested enough to purchase it, how much it means to them. So Bronwyn was so excited. And she contacted me and she wanted to give me something. And I said to her, no, I've got more than enough, as you guys know. I'm happy to take something for everybody on the podcast, though. So she has offered up a box of goodies for somebody, some lucky person. And let's see, I'll put it in this side here. So you can see Bronwyn sent me a picture. She was going to post it to me and then I would post it out to you and all that sort of thing. But I said to her to hang on to it, and whoever wins this prize, I'll put you in touch with Bronwyn and you can go over and connect with Bronwyn because she seems like a lovely, lovely lady. She invited me over for cake. Winner. But I thought what I would do is the winner will be randomly picked. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to tell me if you won this kit, which has got one of these lovely tote bags in it, what would you keep in your bag? What would you use this bag for? So there's no right or wrong answer. It's going to be a random thing. If you don't know what you'd keep in it, just say, I like the bag. But, yeah, I just thought that would be a bit of fun if people would come up with some interesting creative things about what they would keep in their bag. So thank you very much, Bronwyn. Somebody is going to be super happy to win that prize. I know they're going to really enjoy making it. And it's definitely a prize that we'll keep on giving because the stamps are reusable. You can use them over and over again. I think they'd be suitable to use with children. I went to visit my mum. Hi, Mum. I went to visit Mum the other day and I was telling her about it. So she's keen to have a go. Mum likes to make her own Christmas cards. So I thought maybe even the snowflake, Mum could use that to make her Christmas cards this year. So yeah, it's a great prize. Bronwyn has put together a lovely package and it's going to be a very good prize for somebody. So let me know, what would you keep in your bag? All right, so that's all my finished objects and I feel like, oh, yeah, no, that's all my finished objects. And I did make a few bags and things like that, which you guys have bought. Thank you so much. I'm glad everybody's liking the bags. I'm sorry for everybody that's missing out, but they do take me a while to make. Probably takes me half a day to just make the panels. I've got a couple of panels here that I'm working on. So I'm working on these two panels at the moment. I'll show them one at a time. So Foxy, so yeah, I've got the Fox one. So that'll be coming this weekend. And I'm working on this one, which I used some of my fabric stamp and I've actually used some fabric textile medium and my Prisma pencils to colour in some of the sections of that little bit in the centre. But I really try to personalise and customise these bags. So I do a lot of hand sewing on them in terms of the buttons and stamping and the little accessories that go with it. So to everybody that's bought one of these bags, thank you. To everybody that still wants one and keeps missing out, I'll keep them coming for a while. So those two will hopefully be available on Instagram this weekend. All right, so I suppose that means we're moving into my whips. And I've only got 2 whips, so I'll have a chat with you about those guys. And I've got a bit of fluff on my nose. I've noticed when I edit the podcast, I'm constantly touching my face, and I think, stop touching your face. If it's annoying me, it must be annoying other people. But I get a little bit of fluff on my face, and because I've got foundation on, the fluff sticks to my face. Anyway, I'm trying to stop doing that. But we will have a chat about my whips. Okay, so now we're moving into whips. And I've really only got 2, about to have 3 whips on the go. And one of them was a last minute cast on. So I've got a new cast on to show you. But I showed you on the podcast last week that I was knitting this little Pinocchio for my sister. And this is the picture of him here. And this is by cherryx.knitadream. She is on Instagram. But this is all I've got so far. And this is his head. And these red bits of string are where the eyes go. So this is what the pattern tells you to do. So I'm doing it. And I will say this pattern is so detailed. She has gone to so much trouble to make sure that this pattern is accessible to people who are not advanced knitters. Even though the pattern is classified for intermediate, I think that an advanced beginner could have a go at it purely because it's so well written. There's photographs, there's detailed explanations, there's videos to go with it. Of course, she's contactable through Ravelry and Instagram. She's got videos on her Instagram. So her toys are very detailed, very intricate, but it's so well explained. She had a video on her Instagram the other day because this top section of garter stitch that you can see is where the hair is all attached. And she did a little video on 2 options. You had 2 ways that you can attach the hair to that. So yeah, it's really good. Now the reason that I've got halfway, well, not halfway through, I've knit the head. The reason I haven't continued on with this was when I actually looked at the colours that I'd selected for him, I wasn't happy with them. I'd bought this, as you can see in the eyeballs here, I'd bought this red colour for his trousers, and it's actually more of a pinky red, and I want more of a fire engine red. So I've gone back to the website Balmain Yarns where I bought this Scheepjes, and I have purchased some more different colours, and I'm still waiting for them to arrive, but they should be here probably today or tomorrow, I would say. But again, thank you to Lily, who sent me through the audio of her saying this. Lily is Dutch, so she said this word is very easy for them to say. I have followed the audio of what she said a couple of times, and I believe the pronunciation is Scheepjes. Scheepjes. So hopefully, Lily, I've got that right. But she did write out the phonetical way of saying it, so I'll put that on the screen here, and hopefully that will help us all out. But thanks, Lily. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and helping me out with that. Then because I put down the Pinocchio, I was at a loose end as to what to knit. So I dragged out my jumper that I'd found. It was the one with the birds on it. And I started knitting it, and I've decided I don't want to knit that anymore. I've gone cold on it. So I actually frogged it. And the reason that I went cold on it is not because I'm not interested in the knit anymore, but I altered it because it's not size inclusive, and it was a smaller. I'll put the name of the jumper here and a picture so you know what I'm talking about. But it wasn't size inclusive. So I upsized 8-ply wool, and I went up to the 4mm needles. And I tried it on and everything, and it has quite a wide knit ribbed band. But I want it to fit more like my ranunculus does, where it's kind of loose and comfortable. And I felt like it wasn't going to be that. And I was going to continue knitting it, but I've decided to flag it. I'm not saying that I won't knit it. I might knit it down the track because I still actually like it. But I think if I do it, I'm going to change it from a top down instead of a bottom up. And what I'm going to do is from the underarms, I'm going to do it like the Stevie, which I've knit one, and I've got the yarn to knit another Stevie because I love that jumper and I wear the heck out of it, and I love the wool. So I've bought some more of the wool. But she's basically got 2 panels in the side of it, and I think that what I'll do is alter it so that it fits more like that if I knit it down the track. So I knit on that for a couple of nights, and then I just thought, you know what? No. So I frogged it. And then I thought, well, what am I going to do while I'm waiting for my yarn to arrive? So I went to my Ravelry. And I'm not kidding you guys. I've had this jumper number 1 on my Ravelry list. And I'm telling you, my Ravelry list my queue has got nearly 700 things on it. I thought maybe what I could do for a segment on the podcast is let's randomly pick something from my Ravelry queue and have a look at it and why I've got it on and will I ever knit it. So I might do that at some point this year. So we'll do a random what's in my Ravelry queue. And I'd like to know, that's another thing I'd like to know, what's something that you've had in your Ravelry queue for ages and you love it, but for some reason when it comes time to cast on, you cast something else on. I do that all the time. But anyway, what I have cast on, my book here is so heavy that it keeps falling forward and I can't see my information, is I keep wanting to call it the Oaxacan, but it's not that. It's the Oaxacan Rose. Oaxacan Rose by Thea Coleman. And here's a picture of it. I will put it up there on the screen. And this is what I have got so far. I'm really liking it. I'm liking the wool. I'm liking the look of it. I'm about halfway up the body so far. So it's got some nice details in it. It is supposed to be knit in pieces, but I have altered the pattern slightly to knit it in the round, and I'll knit it in the round up to the underarms, and then I'll knit the front and back, and I'll join it at the top, and then the sleeves are supposed to be knit in the flat as well, but I'm going to join them on and knit them in the round. And I've already tried this on. This is more like the loose fit that I want across my hips, and I think this is going to be so comfortable and so easy to wear. And I'll tell you what the yarn is in a minute, but weight wise this thing weighs nothing. It's so light. But I'll tell you the stitch. It's got this nice cable, easy 1x1 cable up the front, and that also runs up the back of the jumper as well. And then in the side, it's got these little knitted panels that run up each side. And I did she doesn't say to do it, but I've done the 1x1 twisted rib so that it sits nicely. So I've only done it halfway, so it's only one knit through the back loop, 1 purl regular. And it's got this nice pattern detail, which is when I used to do this many years ago, I would have called this moss stitch, but she calls it a 2x2 something or another. But to me, it's moss stitch, and it's just knit and purl. So it's just creating this really nice fabric. I like the colour. The colour's right up my street. So all in all, I've been knitting on this and really enjoying it. And even though it looks fancy with all the moss stitch and the cables and things like that, it's definitely TV knitting. So it's coming together pretty quickly. I think by the time I see you guys next, I'll have the body done. But yeah, really enjoying that. And the yarn that I'm using is this guy. And I actually purpose bought this for this particular jumper. So this stuff has been sitting in my stash, I would say, for at least 2 years. So I bought this off Lovecraft. I had a look on Lovecraft. They don't have a good range of these colours left. I've had a look to see if you can get this in Australia, and I don't think you can. Not easily anyway. So if you want to knit it out of this, I'm sorry, but I don't know whether you'll be able to get it. But there's so many nice yarns out there that you'd probably find something else. But that's what this is. It is Cascade yarns in Cantata, which I'm assuming has a musical theme because it's got the musical notes on it. But this is really nice yarn. It's really light, like for a large skein. It's really light yarn. It's 70% cotton, 30% superwash merino wool, and it's that type of yarn that has the net tubing, and then they've blown the merino into it. So this is 100 grams, and it's 200 meters or 218 yards. So it's probably what you would call an Aran, or getting even onto a worsted. Hand wash only. And this colour is colour number 5. But yeah, I'm really liking it. And I think for Queensland, the cotton merino combination is a good option for us here, because it just does not get cold enough to wear the heavier wools and things like that. So I'm really happy with that, and I will keep you posted on how I go with it. So there's that. And the last thing is my good copy of my shawl. So I've got a little bit of a gripe actually. My ball winder packed it in last weekend, so I bought a well-known ball winder and it cost me $250, so I'm sure you guys can work out who I'm talking about. And I'm not kidding you, my husband and I spent the better part of yesterday trying to work out how to use it. I'm so frustrated with it. The balls of yarn looked shocking. The yarn kept jumping. My husband was trying to adjust the tension. I said to him, you know, I don't really think it should be this difficult, but it was. I contacted the place where I bought it today and said that I wanted to return it. They have said that if there's nothing wrong with it, there's no returning it. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to even get my money back on it, but I'm not happy with it at all. Considering the one that I had before was like a $12 job off eBay, and now I've got this grand piece of equipment which looks fantastic, but yeah, it's not like I'm new to the game of winding up balls of yarn, but we could not get it to work. It was definitely not something that was happening yesterday. So in the end, my husband resurrected my $12 ball winder, and even though it's not doing a great job because it's, as I said, it is actually broken, he managed to get these wound up yesterday. Now, granted, they don't look fabulous, but they look 10 times better than the ones that we were getting off the good quality ball winder. Oh, I'm so annoyed about it. But that aside, as I said, my shawl at the back there, I'm going to start the good copy. You guys unanimously said you did not want me to make it smaller. You would rather delve deeper into your yarn stash and come up with some more yarn than me making it smaller. So with that in mind, what I've decided to do is add a fourth colour to spread the yarns out a bit so that it'll be the same size, the same patterns, the same everything, but I will add the fourth colour. So last week I showed you this was the combo that I'm going with, and the fourth colour, which I purpose dyed up, is that one on the end, the beigey colour. So that is going to be my colour palette for the new shawl, and I know that quite a few of you are excited about that, so that makes me excited. And as I said, I will start knitting that this week, and as soon as I'm finished section 1, that'll be heading off to the 2 test knitters I've got. So thanks, ladies. I had a lady come forward after the podcast last week, and she said she would help me out and do a test knit, so thanks. And I will get it done as soon as I can and get it out to you guys. But it definitely won't be an expensive pattern if I charge for it at all. I was thinking about it the other day because originally I was going to not bother charging for it. But what I've decided to do is charge only a few dollars, maybe $3 max for it, so that I can do a few more giveaways and the money that's raised from it will offset the cost of postage. Because my thing this year is if I make something like this, for example, I can't keep everything that I make. I love them, don't get me wrong, but I just can't keep everything that I make. So what I have been doing so far this year is choosing somebody that contacts me randomly, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, and sending them these things just willy-nilly. So it'll help offset the cost of postage for that sort of thing. So that's my thought process. I didn't think you guys would have a problem with that. So yeah, I'm excited to get that shawl up and running, shawl number 2 up and running, and we'll see how we go with that. So that's pretty much everything. I think that I've covered everything this week. Actually, I better check my notes. Yep, that looks pretty good. So the last bit is the for me, from me, and I haven't really got that much to show, but there is a couple of things, so I will show them next. But as usual, if you are not interested in the for me, from me, perfectly fine. You can check it out here, and I will see you in 2 weeks with all the bits and pieces that I've been up to. I'll have a new Etsy seller next week. I've got 2 Etsy sellers that I've purchased from recently. So I've got a few things that I'm excited to show you there. And yep, I think that's everything. So hopefully the weather's nice where you are. Now the sun's just popped out for a minute, but we'll see how it goes. My hubby has found a new local butcher's that has some lovely organic meat and things like that. Although I am predominantly, I don't want to say I'm a vegetarian, but I don't eat a lot of meat as a general rule. It's not because I don't like meat, I do, but I've got to be in the mood to eat it. But he has found a new butcher, and they're all organic and gluten-free and all the good stuff, local farmers, and he's bought some nice schnitzels, and he's going to cook them for our lunch today. So when I wrap this up, that's what I'm going to be having. So I hope you guys have got something nice planned for this afternoon, and I will see you in 2 weeks. But for the rest of us, let's have a look at what I've been buying. All right, what have I been buying? Well, I haven't really been buying much at all. I have bought that ball winder. Let's not say anything else about that. I have bought some new DPNs, and this is what I've purchased because I noticed when I was doing the little knitted rabbit that I like these little the bamboo DPNs as a general rule, but for the toys, they just don't stand up to it. I've broken 2 of my DPNs trying to do that. So I found a shop here and I've bought myself a couple of sets of metal ones. So they are just the Knit Pro Zings, which I've heard good reviews about. So I've bought myself those in a few different sizes. I sort of got from the 2s right through to the 4s, 4 mils in the DPNs. So that was good. And also the other needles that I have purchased, Louie and Lola did a promo on their Instagram saying that they'd had some water damage and they were offering their chow goos at a discounted rate. So I jumped all over that because they were, I think I paid for all 4 sets, for all these sets, I paid about $17. So, you know, they can be up to $17 a set of needles. So I got 4 of those, and the sizes that I think I paid $4 and $5. There wasn't anything over that. I got 3.75, the 2 mil, and they're only 40 centimetre because I thought they would be good for the knitted toys and things. I got 2.25, 60 centimetre, and 2.75 in the 60 centimetre. How big were these ones? The 3.75 I got in 100 centimetre. So, yeah. So I got those because I thought they would be handy. I got some new scissors, and I wanted to tell you guys about these because I got these from Spotlight. And now, apart from the fact the colour of them looks so nice in the rose gold, these scissors were $10, and I think I got them on special for $7, and they are so sharp, and they're really nice to cut fabric because they've got that flat edge to them. You can get them in, I think they had black and white as well, but I decided to go for the rose gold. But if you guys are looking for a good pair of scissors at a reasonable price, I recommend these. These are beauties. So, yep, got those. And I bought these after I'd done my little bird brooch. I was hunting around for a couple of you that had contacted me for the bird brooch. I came across this lady, and I'll just take her card off. She is on Etsy. She's not one of my Etsy sellers because she has thousands of sales, thousands and thousands. But, yeah, she is Pansy Fern in April, and she's on Instagram. And what I purchased from her are 2 kits I bought the same kit because I'm getting a few bits together ready for a giveaway. When I hit 1,500 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway, so there'll be that. But so I've actually bought 2 of these. So one of these is going to be going in the giveaway. I've started, as I said, I've started to gather a few bits together. I'll just put one over there. But it's to make... actually, I'll just take it out of the packet quickly. Hope this won't make too much noise. I'll just pause it actually while I take it out. Okay, so it comes with all the little bits of felt that you need to make it. I'll put a picture on the screen of it because this little photograph, I've just had a quick look at it. It doesn't really do it justice. So it's got a little picture on there, but I'll put the big picture up. That'll be easier for you guys to see what it's going to be like when it's finished. But it comes with all the bits and pieces. It's got all the feathers and the eyes and the beading, and it's got the pattern, very clear instructions on the pattern. So I'll be looking forward to having a go at that, and somebody else will get to have a go at that some stage as well. So it even comes with the little packet of needles for doing the embroidery. Yeah. So it's got all the, even like some silver thread, some sequins, bits and pieces. So it says here, your kit includes instructions, pattern, felt, sewing cotton, beads, sequins, stuffing, brooch back, feathers, needles, and pins. So a comprehensive kit. So that's what I've bought this last 2 weeks. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing those. But other than that, life is quiet. As I said, I caught up with Mum on Monday and we had a good old chat. I got there at 11 o'clock. I don't think I left till 4 o'clock. So we had a good old chat. I haven't seen a lot of Mum this year, you know, with lockdown and things like that. And so, yeah, we had a good time. I've got another get-together with the coffee knitting ladies next week, so that'll be fun. And my husband's off work this week. So we've got a few things planned. And, yeah, just having a nice time, and I hope you are too. Don't forget to enter the giveaway and let me know what you're up to. So I like to have a chat with you guys. So, yep, that's probably about it. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy crafting. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the second colour tutorial. So today I thought we would do some flowers, and quite a few of you have given the last tutorial a go, and with some great results, and I think that you guys feel pretty satisfied with yourselves, and that's the goal. So let's see if we can achieve that again. So as usual, I'm using my watercolour pad, and the link to buy these is in the description box down below. But any watercolour paper will do, but I have tried a few different brands, and this one is quite affordable and does a pretty good job. There's 15 sheets in there, and I paid, I think, $7.95. So I've prepped my paper already, as we talked about in the last tutorial, with my masking tape. A couple of you had trouble getting the masking tape off. I just want to say that I don't buy a cheaper one. I buy, like, this one is Bear, Norton Bear masking tape, Singleton. So this is the one that I use, and I don't normally have any trouble. I don't know if that's kind of focus on the inside there. I don't normally have any trouble getting that off. But if you do have trouble getting your masking tape off, just hit it briefly with a hairdryer, and that will soften the glue and make it easy to peel off. So there's that. Now I've got 2 brushes here that I'm going to use today. So this is a size 12 and a size 2 brush, and these are middle of the range, lower middle of the range. They are Princeton brushes, but I think they're like the elite. They do a couple of different types. So I think the blue handled ones are the select and the red ones are the elite, but really either will do, either, no problem there. I've got some water, I've got my paints, I just grabbed one of my palettes which looks a hot mess, but you know, I like that. And I've just got a fine liner pen. This is a 0.025, just a very thin black pen. This one is not waterproof, but you can get the waterproof ones. The way that you can tell, I'll just grab one to show you. On the side of it, when you're reading this small writing here, it says waterproof as one of the things. So if you want one, this is a medallion drawing pen. This is an 03. This one's a little bit thick for my liking, but that is waterproof. All right, let's get started. So first off, I am going to choose my colour. So I am going to go with something bright so that you guys can see it. I'll just bring my water over so you can see what I'm doing. I'm dipping my brush in the water, tapping off a little bit of the excess, dipping into my purple paint there, and just going for a little blob on the end of my brush. So I might turn my pad around because I think that would be a better layout for these flowers, doing it this long way after I just had my notepad all nicely placed. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just drop with the tip of my brush. I'm holding it on an angle, but I recommend that when you do it, you hold it on a higher angle, but I'm trying to hold it back a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little blobs of paint there. Then rinse your brush out a fair amount. I mean, I've still got a little bit of colour in there. I've got a little bit of water on the brush. And then what you need to do is, using the tip of your brush, touch one of the blobs. And then lay your brush down and wiggle it a bit. And that will form a petal. So do that with each one. Try not to touch the one beside it. Lay your brush down, give it a little wiggle. And I don't know if you can see clearly, but I've tried not to touch the petal next to it with the watercolour so they don't bleed together. So there's a little bit of space. So again, touching your brush down, lay the belly of the brush on the paper and give it a little wiggle. And with each one, I'm hoping that you can see this. It's a faint flower, but we're going for some soft flowers. A bit awkward to do it, but I'm trying to do it so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Make sure you've got plenty of water on your brush. I've gone a little bit dry there, so just add a little bit more. And then before it dries, grab your little brush and with a little bit of water, tap into, say, another colour that you fancy. So I'm going to go for a bit of a red colour that I've got here, and just touch it in the centre there. And it will bleed up into the water that you've got on your page. Mine's gone a little bit dry. I've got lights on here, so it's drying out my paper a bit quickly. But make sure that you've got plenty of water on, and if not, you can kind of coax it up to get a bit of colour through. So that's the first one done. So now I'll do another one. I'll do a pink one this time. So getting a bit of water on my brush, I'm going to go into another pinky colour and get a bit of a glob of paint on the end of my brush there and do my dots again. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now those drops that I've put on the paper have actually got a domed appearance. So they literally are a blob of paint, on watery paint on your page. So rinsing your brush out lightly, but still having a bit of water on it. Again, touch your spot and lay the belly of the brush down and wiggle. And if you've still got a little bit of purple on your brush from the previous flower, it doesn't matter. It adds to the connect, like it connects them a bit. I'm going to keep it a bit wetter this time since it dried out a bit last time. So laying it onto the tip of your brush down and then wiggling the belly of your brush out. Again, the tip down, lay it down and wiggle. Again, keeping a bit of air between each of your petals so that they don't touch. Trying to work out how I can do that, make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. Tip of the brush down, lay the belly of the brush down and wiggle. Now, I have touched the one next to it there, as you can see, and they've run together. So that's what will happen. Look, it's not the end of the world for sure, and it'll definitely come together at the end. So if you do that, don't stress. Do not stress, it'll be fine. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of blue, and because this one's a bit wetter, you'll be able to see it. See, it just feeds back up into the flower a little bit more and makes it look really pretty. So that's that one, and I'll do one more. Let's see, what colour will we do? We'll do a blue one. So go in with your dots. 2, 3, 4, 5. Some water. Tip of the brush in, lay the belly of the brush down and wiggle. Tip, belly, wiggle. And you can fiddle around with the shape of the leaves if you want a little bit. Like, don't think that that's the end of it, but tip, wiggle. And remember, flowers aren't perfect in nature, so you don't want them to be looking too exact. And last one. So I'll just put a tip of colour in those. So I'm going to go with the pink, a little bit of pink in the centre there. And by the time you've done those, the first one will be dry. So now I'm going to get my smaller brush, the number 2, and we'll do a bit of work on this first flower. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of, you could go for any colour you like here. I'm going to go for a little bit of brown, and I'm going to do some little dots like the middle of a flower there. So that, just a few small dots around, creating the centre of the flower. I don't know if that one will be dry yet. No, it's not. So we'll keep working on that first one. And I like to go in with, say, if you've got, go in with a little bit of gold. You can just run that down the middle of your petals to create more of the centre. And the last thing that I like to do is I've got this white bleed proof paint, and it's more like an ink. But if you're using watercolour paint and you use the white, it becomes transparent. But I find that if I use this, it keeps its sharpness. But if you haven't got something like this, that's fine. But you have got something like a white pigment pen, you can use that instead. It's dried out, so I'm going to go back to my white paint. But as I said, you could use the white pen if that's what you've got at home. So I'm going to get a little bit of that on my brush, on the tip of my brush, and just go in with a few little white dots to add to the centre of it. So that one's done. And we'll do these other ones. So I'm going to get a little bit of brown or black, just to give that little bit of darkness in the centre. It's still a little bit wet, but we'll work with it. What I might do while I'm waiting for that to dry is show you the next thing. So I'll go back to the bigger brush and think about where you're going to put your stems. So say the stems are going to run down the page here. You want a few leaves on it. So going in with your green, get some green watercolour paint on your brush. And it's the same thing. Put the tip of your brush down, lay the belly down, and you can make a leaf shape that looks pretty good. If you've got a couple of different colour greens, it looks good if you mix a few greens together, because in nature the leaves are different colours. So tip, belly and tip. That's what you're aiming for. So we'll put another one just here. So go in with your tip, lay the belly down, drag it along a bit if you like, and bring it back up to the tip to get a few leaves. One more, I think. Tip, belly, drag it a little bit as you come up to the tip again, and then you've got some leaves. I might put one up the top there as well. So tip, belly and tip is what you're going for there. And then lastly, what I'd like to do, by that time these should be dry so we can finish them off, is just connect things. So I've got my thin pen here, and I'm going to run a thin line down indicating the stems of the flowers, and we'll go for one down here through those leaves, and I'll go back in and finish those little bits there. And some gold dots. Some gold dots on this one. And some white ones. Still a tiny bit wet. What I would recommend is, if you do this, let your flowers dry completely and then do those centres so that they look nice and crisp. So, and as usual, you guys know I like a bit of splatter, so I am going to just go in with a little bit of splatter, just grabbing, I'll show you there, just grabbing whatever's on my paint tray and just hit it with a bit of artistic splatter. There we go. And that's some nice little flowers there that you can do. Make those into a card. Again, I've done it on the full A5, but if you did 2 lots on each side, that would be quite nice. If you want to add a little bit of extra embellishment, you can just get your thin pen and go in and add a few little lines there to indicate the center depth of the leaf, of the petal I should say. But I will show you a close-up of that, and I think that would make a really nice card for anybody. So let me know how you go. If you have a go at this, don't forget to hashtag me on Instagram so I can have a look. If you've got any problems or something doesn't make sense that I've said, please reach out to contact me and I will try and clarify something. But once you've done, you can peel your tape off the edge and it gives you a nice clean edge on it, and you're done. There we go. Make sure when you do your little paintings and stuff that you always put your signature on it and the date, because it's interesting if you're starting this journey to do some painting. What have we got? We've got the 3rd of March today, the 3rd of the 3rd, 21. So you can have a look back and see how you have developed. I hope you enjoyed that. And as I said, don't forget to tag me if you have a go. Thanks, guys. Bye.